Hi guys, I'm EVM and welcome back to the channel and to a very windy and wet North Yorkshire. It is August, so I kind of should have expected that. There's nothing I can do about the wind noise, so I'm afraid you're just going to have to put up with it. I've been trying to do this video for 3 days and this is as good as it's got. This is the full electric Mercedes eVito, and for me this is when transportation really changes, because vans account for a lot of traffic on the road. Vans account for a lot of traffic on the road, and at the moment are doing an awful lot of deliveries, of course. So when it turns full electric, that's when we'll see a big difference, not just environmentally, but it makes sense from a technical point of view as well, because the very nature of an electric motor is instant torque and, well, just a lot of torque, which is exactly what you want when you're loading around a lot of gear. So let's see how good this is, because there are a lot coming out at the moment from Peugeot and Vauxhall and various others. So let's see how good Mercedes are at it. And now it started raining again. Enjoy. Okay, I'm going to have to do this old school because the weather won't give me any other chance. From the front, I would say this looks like one of the better looking vans personally. Mercedes vans have always had a good reputation for engineering, and let's face it, it is a premium brand, so it does look good if you turn up in one of these. This, of course, has got body coloured bumpers and it looks a lot nicer. It's quite high spec. So yeah, other than that, it's basically just a van. From the side, you've got a little badge here that says electric, just to let everybody know. And you know what? It's a van. It's got a slopey bit at the front, square bit at the back, and a square bit at the top. Now you'll notice here that we have a side door. I will show you the load bay later on. And if I open the passenger side here, that wind is very strong. You'll notice that we have a charge port. Now, if I take that off, you may notice that something is missing. I will come back to that later on in the video though. As I go around the back, again, it just pretty much looks like a van. You do get a little blue E there for the eVito, and it is available in various different configurations, as eVitos typically are. If I just open this, you get an idea of the load bay. Excuse me, there we go. It is 6 cubic meters square, and it is also available in 2 different lengths. It's about 23 centimeters longer is the L3 over the L2, and that gives you 6.6 cubic meters of space in here as opposed to 6. However, the weight is less on the longer van because the van itself weighs more. So you can actually carry more in terms of weight in the shorter van, in this one, the L2, than you can the L3. The load bay, you can see a few anchor points going around, and of course various configurations that you can no doubt do as you can in van world. But yeah, it's basically the same eVito that most people are very familiar with. Oh god, it's nice to be in. Okay, now the front is very much, well, it's pretty much identical for the most part to the normal Vito. Let me just turn the ignition on for you there. There we go. You have the typical dials that, you know, for the speedometer, you have, instead of a rev counter, the charge-ometer, I suppose, that tells you how much electricity you're using and how much you will be regenning. If I press this here, you do get various different, oh, go away, there you go, you get various different menus, so you can tell how economical you're driving. There we go, so that's how much we've done there. 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour. I'll come to that later on in the video though. And it tells you various things that you would expect from an electric vehicle. Of course, you have a, no gear stick here, which some in the Vito will obviously be familiar with. So it doesn't splice the nudges in two for anybody sat in the middle seat. So that's good, it gives you more space. Although the middle bench, it is a 3-seater of course, the middle bench is a little bit tight. Down here we have, of course, a cigarette lighter slash 12-volt thingy, because everybody in a van, it appears, seems to be a smoker these days. Touchscreen satellite navigation. Some of the things I am showing you will be optional extra, of course, but I believe this is standard. It's not bad, you know, it's not too bad as far as sat-nav goes. It's a little bit slow, but yeah, I can live with it. If you click on that, you get various apps, which I haven't got set up, unfortunately. I can't show you those. But yeah, it's got digital radio, all the basics that you would expect from, well, any modern vehicle these days, let alone a car or a van. You got a glove box down here, which is okay, it's not massive. A couple of USB ports there, I'm not sure if you can see them. Yep, and a little bit of a cubby hole, and a cubby hole there, of course, which I'm not sure what you're going to use for, to be honest, because things are just going to go flying out when you accelerate. Another cubby hole there for your Sun newspaper. This bit for your, I don't know, clipboard for whatever deliveries you're doing, and another one for the passenger over there as well. This cup holder, it won't fit a bottle, but it will fit a cup. But you do have extremely generous door bins, which are very low down. I mean, that's my foot. So, yeah, you can't really, see it very well. But, yeah, you can fill a 2-litre bottle in that easily. And, of course, there's one in the other side as well. The seats, pretty much standard fare, you know, hard wearing, reasonably comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable, if I'm honest, in the driver's seat. I've done a fair bit of driving in this. But it's basically just the same as the normal Vito. I must admit, I would have preferred a van with reverse parking sensors, Mercedes, or a camera or something. Does make it a little bit easier. It's quiet for a van, I have to say. Very quiet. But you don't have that noisy, clattering diesel engine up front, do you? Which, let's face it, if you're anything like the couriers or delivery drivers that drive up and down my road, they only seem to have one gear. First gear, doing 20, 30 miles per hour. I look forward to the day when all vans are electric and aren't waking me up at 6 in the morning. That will be good. One thing that's quite cool is that it's got flappy paddles here, which means you can change the level of regen. We have D-, drive, D, D+, and D++. It's almost like a school report. Oh, there goes my camera gear in the back of the van. Stunk! The warranty on these vans is the same as the diesel one in terms of you get a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty on the van. The battery comes with an 8-year 100,000 kilometres. I don't feel like a proper van driver still though. There's just something missing.
Something not right, is there? Something just missing.
Well, there we go. Right. That's better.
Sorted, that, isn't it?
Yep. Oi, love. Oi. You're now called Tew.
Tew. All right.
Who am I?
Twev.
Twev and Tew.
Yeah.
All right, mate. All right. Oh, shit.
I know. Van man. 1970s van man.
There's my policeman there over there as well. Hey, he's in a van as well. He's in a Peugeot van. It's quite a deep dashboard. But obviously the bonnet's not massive,
no.
So it is quite easy to stay within about a foot of the car in front, I find. It's kind of like BMW drivers, you know, that every time they try and indicate, they go...
Yeah.
It just doesn't... It's a genetic thing, I think.
Like that. What a perfect van for an ice cream van!
Yeah.
Perfect, you'd have to gas the kids with diesel. Every time I smell diesel, it reminds me of ice cream.
Yesterday we picked up several sofas.
We did, yeah.
And I've done a big tip run.
Thanks, Mercedes.
Yeah, thank you, Mercedes, for that. I've been waiting months for this van to turn up, so I could clear the garage out. With mixed driving, you get in between 2.4 and 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour, which means that's about 80 to 90 odd miles. On a nice day. On a nice day, of
Probably
course.
Ideal, isn't it, really, for batteries, is this sort of weather?
With winter, that will be less. And something which the Peugeot, Citroën, Vauxhall PSA group have put out for their vans that are coming out in a couple of months. They reckon you'll lose about 3 miles of range per 100 kilograms of payload.
Right, so
and this can do
around 27, 30 miles then?
Well, this can do 950 odd kilograms for the short wheelbase version anyway. So yeah, that's about, call it 30 miles of range lost if it was fully laden. Which means you're going to have about 60 odd miles of range if you drive it relatively light-footed.
Yes, this is...
In summer.
In summer, yeah. I mean, this has been designed for that, what you'll call it, the final mile, is it?
It has to be, because it can't do anything else. I mean, I can't envisage a sole trader using this, because you'd have to only work. If you're a plumber, for example...
Excuse me, love, do you mind if I just charge it while I do the work?
Yeah. You're going to... Well, maybe it is perfect for them, because you'd be lecky sponging. But I can't imagine a sole trader, a plumber, electrician, anything like that, working within a radius of 30 odd miles, because they've got to get there and back.
No.
So it's got to be for that last hop delivery thing.
Unless you work on an island that's 30 miles.
Well, yeah. Is this the perfect delivery van then for Ibiza?
Possibly, yeah. Well, only one way to find out. You like birds, don't you? Check them out.
Whoa. That is a set of great tits. Oh, you're not going to see them again.
You never, no. Cracking.
Should we get to the elephant in the room of this van? Of what its basic, massive weaknesses?
Yeah, it's not a little one, is it? It's not a DD one. It is a massive... I would like to say oversight, but is it?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's an oversight. You may have spotted it when I showed you around the van, because I said something's missing here, and I'll talk about it later. That is a complete and total lack of rapid charging, even as an option.
Yeah.
It can only charge at 7 kilowatts, which is basically a fast charger, the one you have at home, for example. Basically, you're looking at 5 to 6 hours to get this back up to full charge, no matter what you plug it into.
So you need 2?
Well, yeah, I guess. So that means it rules out shift work.
Yep.
Because one shift would have to use it and then wait 6 hours before the next shift can use it. That rules out any long journeys completely.
Yeah. And
it just restricts it to such a small niche market for me.
It's unbelievably niche, isn't it? It's.
I mean, what,
does it even exist?
All I can think of is something like a butcher's or a bakery or some high-class establishment that only delivers within the confines of central London or Nottingham or Leeds or somewhere like that.
I guess that's an interesting thing, though. If it's in a city like central London and you've got congestion charge, pollution charge, is that going to be a relevant thing? Is it?
Or banned completely. I think that they're going to eventually ban the diesel engine, aren't you, and therefore vans from city centres. So you could argue that that's the reason this exists. Well, this says it all for me. I've figured out how long it would take us to go to my mum and dad, it's a journey I've done a lot on the channel. If I did it in this with rapid charging, if it had it, it would take about, I reckon, 8 hours, maybe 8 to 9 hours. Yeah. Traffic and all sorts of things depending, because you'd have to stop. It'd be like driving my 24 kilowatt hour Leaf, basically.
Yeah.
If we took this to my parents' house just one way, then that would genuinely, because of the fast charging only, take 25 hours to get there. And that's driving, charging.
Wow.
I mean, what does that remind you of? Do you remember when we did the long journey in the Renault Twizy?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It wasn't the driving, was it? It was the 4 hour charging.
We did more just sitting around, didn't we?
Yeah. So there is no way on this planet that you can do a long journey in this.
It's not
going to happen. I'm not saying make it standard, just make it as an optional electric. I can't believe it's a technical reason to not include it. And it's
when
Mercedes.
Everything else does, yeah.
The R&D Mercedes have. They've got the EQC. They know what they're doing in battery terms.
Is this a compliance vehicle then?
Is compliance
it just
van?
Yeah.
Well,
is it just to get the tick in the box? That's it. We've done it.
I mean, that's the only reason I can think of, because if it's not, it must appeal to about 1% of all van drivers who exist in this country. It's definitely a good van.
Oh yeah.
It's normal Vito. I mean, look, even with just normal driving around that I've been doing, I've accidentally come to B&Q.
Are you out with B&Q?
We're at B&Q already. I mean, I didn't mean to.
Let's get some cement.
Now, you could argue that the inner city, electric only, especially if it's been banned, would make this a reason to buy it. But there is a significant reason of why it doesn't make sense even then. And that's called the PSA group.
Yeah.
Now, it's not out, they're not out, should I say, until October-ish. They start at a price that is about £6,500 cheaper than this.
Yep.
They can charge at 100 kilowatts.
They can rapid charge?
Rapid charge.
Wow.
And even the smaller battery version can do about 50 miles more than this.
Wow.
And they've got a bigger payload by about, on the smaller battery version anyway, 300 kilograms.
So in the game of top trumps,
this loses on every single front. Apart from the big Mercedes badge at the front, they don't have that. The biggest problem this van has is other vans.
Yeah.
Because I can sort of see how it makes sense in central cities.
Oh yeah.
Because they are going to ban the engine eventually.
Yeah. Well, it's going to have to. I mean.
Yeah. And on cost, the least price for this is £200 a month more. This is from research, not from Mercedes. £200 a month more than the diesel Vito equivalent. So you're paying £200 a month more for the electric privilege. I figured out that you're going to have to do about 50,000 miles a year to break even in fuel costs.
Which you probably couldn't do with the rapid.
You couldn't do with
you
the
couldn't charge
range.
it in time.
Now, obviously, there's going to be cheaper maintenance, I guess, and you may save money by going into city centres. I mean, I suppose if the diesel Vito is banned, this is your only option.
Yeah.
Apart from the other vans that are on sale.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is a compliance one or not, because it does have a purpose, but it's just been beaten by other vans.
Do you think couriers are going to buy a fleet of these to bring their CO2 emissions down, like DHL, UPS? Have they got CO2 targets that buying something like this?
So, yeah, like part of our fleet is electric. But then you'd think, well, they'd just go for the other ones.
Unless they've
that are actually usable.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it, isn't it? I think the once you've got rapid charging on, the range doesn't really matter, does it? It's how quickly you can get it back into the battery. It's going to be enough for doing
Charging
its job.
speed is almost more important than range.
The thing is, you get this out fresh on the day, and you're going, right, at the very best, I've got 60, 70 miles if it's fully laden, and that's it. It's not like I can go, well, I've got another 10 miles to do. Actually, I'll just go and top it up.
Yeah,
that's out of the question.
There's no top up. You would probably get about 20 miles of range per hour on the fast charger, I reckon. In there. Do you want to see what it's like then, Tel?
Yeah, go on then. Go on then,
Right, well, let's swap then.
Yeah.
We've swapped the high-vis jacket, so he's got the driving high-vis, the yellow
That's
one.
it. Yeah.
Because that's the law, apparently.
Yeah, we looked it up.
Yeah.
Check it out. I think the rules of junctions are you can just pull out now. Is that?
You don't have to look.
No.
You look there, you see. What are you doing?
Amber. Can you go through Amber?
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah.
Well, he did.
In fact,
He's not even got a van.
Now this starts at £32,000, excluding VAT after the government grant. The PSA group stuff, or at least the Peugeot ones anyway, just as a comparison, start at about 25.5, and as we've said before, bigger range, bigger payload, and rapid charging.
Rapid charging, yeah.
So it's a tough sell, is this, I think. Have you noticed the flappy paddles?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Can you see where it says D++ and D-?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it does.
I think it should go, my thing with vans, it should go from D to double D.
I mean, a lot of people forget when the people who don't like electric vehicles anyway, that the electric motor has been around longer than the petrol engine. So, are we basically saying that this can fit some usage patterns, but the ultimate reason why we personally wouldn't go for it still is because of the other vans that you can get that do way more for less?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Does this win in any top trumps?
It's got a badge on it, it's got the Mercedes.
Is it just
that's
that?
the only thing it has.
But why would you limit yourself to something which is more expensive than everything else?
It's a Porsche GT3 RS, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to take things off it.
And charge you more for it.
Yeah. I think like we said earlier, the biggest thing with this is that there's better vans available, isn't there?
Very shortly there will be.
And they cost
that are cheaper,
less.
bigger range.
Everything
yeah.
It's an odd one, isn't it? It could have been so much more without putting very much more in it.
Yeah. An optional extra changes this completely.
It's like they've designed 90% of the van.
I just want to talk to the designer of this and say, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why have you done that? So overall then, nice van, nice and comfortable, quick enough in van terms. I mean, I think it's just got one level of acceleration. But as a van, it's very good. And for the reasons we've already said many times over, it just doesn't make sense to us.
No.
So yeah, I think good van, badly executed.
Yeah. It just needs, like I said, 90%.
Yeah. Easily fixed. Maybe they could change it and refresh it with that option. From Tel and Trev. Yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, like and no, I can't do a cockney.
No, it's not.
Hang on a minute. I need to like and subscribe.
It's verging on racism.
I apologise to anybody who this may offend. No, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully other vans will appear on this channel, because I do think it's a significant sector which is just emerging now in electric car world, a big one. So I'm going to hammer Peugeot, Citroën, Vauxhall for theirs. Fingers crossed. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
You're not a big tits fan, are you? You're an ass man,
Ass man, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I think that's worthy of a picture.
It certainly is.
I'm not a fan of the teeth though.
Well, I can live with that.
That's a good one.
It's a good thing. Keep that for a rainy night.
Yeah.